Hi, welcome to the Urban Outdoorsman SoCal video. My name is Danny Milton, and today we're going to be talking about the DJI Osmo Action 3. So I've done a couple videos on this camera so far, and if you want to see any of those videos, you can click that link up in the right-hand corner there. The main problem that we're having, and a lot of people are having with this new camera, is it's not focused properly. So just recently, DJI sent out a new firmware update trying to solve this problem, but basically all that firmware update did was just increase the sharpening in the camera itself. It didn't do anything to actually help the soft focus. So in my previous video, a lot of people were commenting that they were having the same problem, and on the other side too, some people were saying that their DJI camera was focused great and they were really happy with the results that they were getting. Because of this focus problem with my DJI Action 2, I have returned it. I've already sent it back to DJI. I'm really sad about that because I really liked using the camera. It has a lot of great features compared to the GoPros. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys some side-by-side footage with the Action 3 next to the GoPro Hero 11 as I ride down a kind of mountain bike trail. It's out there on Fullerton Loop, but it is a fast little section, a little bit of single track, and it's about the fastest I could ride right now with, you know, the shoulder injury I just had. So all the footage I'm showing you guys today is all raw footage, raw sound as well. I'm not doing anything post. This is just a video I'm getting straight out of the camera, right off the SD card. Both cameras are going to be running 4K 24. The GoPro Hero 11 is going to be in super view. The wind is set to auto. The shutter speed is set to auto, and the EV comp is set to -0.5. The Action 3 is very similar. The 4K 24, it's going to be in wide mode. The wind is set to auto, and I think that's about it. So what I'm also going to be doing during this video is pausing the screen a couple times and showing you guys some of the flaws that I'm noticing of the Action 3 compared to the Hero 11. All right, just cruising through this first section here. All right, so the first thing I want to point out here is a couple of things. If you look at these trees here, we're not going to worry about the warped image of them. We just want to look at the detail on how bright the image is on the A3. Whenever you have an image this brightly lit, you're going to lose a lot of detail in that image, whether the camera is focused or not. And then if you look at this little building over here on the right, on the Hero 3, you can see all the color. You can see all of the, the lines of the boards. You can even see the little grading at the top, where on the A3, it's almost completely blown out and washed out. And whenever you have an image that's that completely blown out with no color at all, it's going to be hard to kind of color correct and bring back some of that detail. And as we continue down this little sidetrack here, anywhere that you want to, you can actually kind of pause the image. And if we go up a little bit farther here, say if we pause like right here, just looking at the A3 image, the ground is still kind of blown out, and you're going to lose a lot of detail again in that image. Whereas on the Hero 11, you can see all of that ground detail. The image is not blown out at all. And then if you go just a couple of steps a little farther ahead here, just looking at these bushes, or these bushes on the wall to the right here, there's not a single leaf or part of that bush that's in focus at all on the A3. Whereas if you look over here on the GoPro Hero image, you can see those little leaves closest to us are pretty well in focus. Now there is a little bit of motion blur, so they're not going to be perfect because we're moving, but there is a lot more detail, and there is a lot more detail in the Hero 11 image, whereas the A3 image looks very mushy and soft. So we're just going to continue down the trail even more here. So one other thing I want to point out to you guys right here is if you look at the sky. Now, if you look at the sky image back here in the back corner, the A3, it's almost completely blown out. You can see a little bit of what looks like turquoise sky. That's horrible coloring right there on the A3. Whereas if you look at the Hero 11 image, that's pretty much in focus. The color looks very true. We're using the natural color profile on the GoPro Hero 11. You can see most of the clouds. Now they're not in focus because they're far away, but still you can see a lot more detail in that Hero 11 image, and the color of the sky looks much better. We start playing here now. The color of the sky still looks a little turquoisey on the A3. It is a little bit better. You can see some more of those clouds now in that picture. But the whole time, the Hero 11 image, the sky looks perfect. we're going down here and you're still getting a lot of those blown out colors on the trail itself, you know, and anytime you see that blown out image, you're going to lose all that detail. Whereas the Hero 11 image just looks pretty much perfect. I mean, I wouldn't have to do much at all, you know, color correction or anything like that. So now we're going to start writing down the little single track part of the Fullerton loop here, this little section that we're doing. And just starting up the video here, we're just going to pause in a couple of spots. I just want to point out some things to you, like this section right here, right next to this tree. You can see on the A3 image, it's completely blown out in the ground, which means there's zero detail recorded there in the image itself. Whereas if you look at the Hero 11, you could barely tell that there's any sunlight there at all. I mean, you can see the shadows and you can see all of the trail. Like I said, both of these cameras, this is the raw image. The shutter speed is set to auto, and this is what the camera is giving you. Now, obviously, you could put ND filters and do manual settings, and you'll probably pick up. You won't have as many of those hot spots. But for the average person, they're not going to be doing that. They're just going to have these cameras in auto, and you're going to lose a lot of image, you know, just because the image coming out of the A3 is so blown out, so hot, so many times. The image coming out of the A3, it doesn't look bad. If you didn't have this footage side by side, you wouldn't think that the A3 image is that bad. But let me give you an example here. Up here on the right-hand side, on the A3 image, you can see the side of the hill over there, and that's like people's property line and stuff. That entire hillside is almost completely blown out. Whereas on the Hero 11 image, you can see the ground, you can see the dirt, you can see the shadows, you can see the bushes, and you can even see some of the fencing over there. Whereas on the A3, the image is almost completely blown out, and you lose all of that detail as well. Coming down the trail here a little bit farther, more just kind of blown out image. You can stop right here. I mean, just looking at the ground itself, you know, not worrying about the blown out trail part in the center, but if you look at the leaves on the sides of the trail, there's just a lot more detail. It's not over sharpened in the GoPro. I have the GoPro set sharpness to medium. It's not over sharpened. It's just in focus, and that's what an in focused piece of ground should look like. Whereas on the A3, the image is blown out. First of all, there's too many highlights in all of that stuff on the leaves and everything, and it's just soft focus, and it just looks blurry. You know, we're going to cruise down the trail here. You know, just more of the same, blown out highs on the A3. Right here, actually, the two images, you know, the tree right here on the left looks about equal on both cameras. I will say that the image right here in the A3 is not bad, but as compared to the Hero 11 on the right, I mean, you can see a lot more detail in that little creek bed there. You can see it's just more detail. Coming down a little bit farther here, you know, the image doesn't look bad, like I said, but look at this up here on the right now. I mean, you have almost that whole top right-hand corner is completely blown out on the A3 image, whereas, you know, the GoPro Hero 11, again, isn't blown out, and you can get a lot more detail, you get a lot more color, you get a lot more of just everything in that image compared to the A3. Just continue down the trail farther, just looking, you know, it's just kind of a soft image coming out. I mean, the colors don't look great on the A3. Like, say, for instance, right here, we're going to take a look at this part. The grass on the left in the A3 image, it looks like moss. I mean, it just looks like a mushy green mess on the ground, whereas on the Hero 11, it actually looks like grass. Like, you can see more of the individual blades of grass, and just the coloring overall just looks so much better on the Hero 11. Going to cruise down a little bit farther here, just going down the trail. You know, the highs, the highlights on the A3 are just not giving a really good color sharpness. Another section here on the right-hand side, that whole hillside on the right-hand side of the A3 is almost completely white and blown out. Whereas on the Hero 11, you've got so much more detail, so much more color variance, and it just looks the way it's supposed to, whereas the A3, again, is just completely blown out image. Coming down a little bit farther here, and once again, if you look in this little tiny part of sky straight down the trail of the A3 image, the sky is completely blown out and completely white, whereas the sky on the Hero 11. You can see the blues, you can see the clouds, and just overall, I mean, overall, obviously the image is sharper, but also there's less blown out skies and blown out, you know, there's less blown out whites. Okay, so we're gonna go down the trail one more time. This time I'm not gonna talk the whole time, but you guys can just look at the image. Anytime that you want, just go ahead and pause the video and just compare for yourself side by side what you're seeing out of the A3 and what you're seeing out of the Hero 11. In my opinion, the A3 is just blown out image after blown out image, not anywhere near as sharp as the Hero 11. So after looking through all that footage, I do have to say that the Action 3 is just not living up to my expectation. I do realize that this is a smaller camera, it's lighter, it's also less expensive than the GoPro Hero 11 or GoPro Hero 10, but the image quality coming out of it is just not up to the quality that I would like to be putting out. And hopefully, you know, from my last video, I was noticing a lot of the comments that some people were completely happy with the image they were getting, and some people were saying that their image that they were getting was just as good, if not better, than the GoPro Hero 11. So hopefully this is just kind of like a batch problem that DJI is having with this camera, and it's not across the board, but I'm kind of thinking it's across the board. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys are having similar results with this camera. If you've seen footage anywhere on the YouTube that's just as good as the Hero 11, please, you know, link those videos down in the description below. If you're another YouTuber watching this channel and you have really good, clean footage using this Action 3, list your video down below and I'll come check it out. And if I see anything that shows me that this camera, you know, maybe it is just a batch problem and that this camera does do what it's supposed to do as far as image clarity and focus, I'll probably go buy another one. All right, so thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure you guys do all that fun stuff for me, please. Smash that like button, share, comment, definitely subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. All of those things, every time you hit that like button, every time you subscribe, it helps this video get out to more people. Also helps my channel grow as well, which is, you know, I'm trying to do. Once you are subscribed, make sure you click that bell notification so you do get notified when new videos come out. So last but not least, make sure you click one of the boxes in the corners. One will take you to the DJI playlist, another to a favorite video, and you can click the logo in the other corner, the Urban Outdoorsman SoCal logo, to subscribe. Thanks a lot.